So I am going to try and get cracking on Beatrix again. I'm going to see if by putting the leather seats in and putting the seat connectors at the bottom for the airbags, that light goes off, because if that light goes out, that is one step closer to the MOT. If it doesn't, that is a big problem, because I have cleaned a lot of things. So, and then hopefully today we will knock off the wheels on the driver's side, a bucket, some machine cleaner, some degreaser, and clean all that rusty dust off. GT85, clean it down, clean the sill down, and then we'll get the sill cover back on and the plastic arch at the front, and then we'll probably proceed and do the same with the passenger side. I want to get those body panels back on the car. They will have to come off for the rust treatment, but that's going to be long term. It's not going to be for a few months yet. There's so many things to do, so let's crack on. Essentially, I'll just get the key. Fingers crossed here. Yes! Yes! It's gone out. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay. That is great news. That is really good news. That is one step closer to the MOT. Now we can crack on. Get this thing off. No, it's not even... They're not even tight. Ugh. No, I forget half the time. I didn't even tighten them up. Right. I did manage to get a few more stones out of this, but you know. Right, my weapons of choice today, well, this is actually a clean sponge. I've got about 10 of these. I bought them in bulk, which is the way I do things. I buy everything in bulk, so it's much cheaper, because, you know, I buy like 20 cans of GT85 and 10 cans of WD-40. You know what I mean? Oh, actually, I don't buy that much WD-40, it's rubbish. But I do buy things in bulk in general, including resources that I know I'm going to use. That way, it just saves the cost. This is an amazing brush, and it's been abused, and it's going to be used again. This is the soft brush. This is also useful. I've got a pack of 10 of these. Yeah, I haven't got a pack of 10 of these because this is 10 quid a bottle, but engine machine cleaner from Autoclim, a general all-purpose cleaner, and that's what I'm going to use today. I mean, since I last came in here, it has had a bit of a clean through there, but yeah, it just needs to be washed down because it's a bit dustier, a bit dry, but honestly, it's looking fantastic. So we're just going to give everything a bit of a clean over. Just spray it on liberally, just spray it on absolutely everywhere. That's what it's about. Now, what I'm going to do is agitate using this. And, I know you can't see some of this, but you know, it's... Look at all this. This was on the car, you wouldn't have believed it. Put the 10 times better up here. That's all looking fantastic. The only thing I'm kind of aware of is the ball joint and the bush here is a little bit cracked, and the joints up there may also be the same, but these are little things. I think suspension wise I'll probably go the full hog and have a couple of days sorting all this out. I am aware that there is a rattle. There's only a small rattle, but a little one on a cold start from the torsion damper drive plate for the CVT. Bolts to the flywheel, and they rattle because the springs are inherently weak, but you can get the uprated ones, but unfortunately that'd be a gearbox out job. I suspect that job will be CV boots and gearbox at the same time, because I've got to take these out to actually get the gearbox out or lifted down a side to do that job. Exciting times, but it will get it done eventually if it plays ball. Right, that's enough of that. I think I'll just wash it down. Very good. Bucket of water. This is going to get very messy. Oh, dear me. Whoops-a-daisy, and yeah, straight away, all the gunk off. That's what you want. Ooh. This is just 20 million times an improvement from what it was. And even here where I've gone over with the zinc primer on that, this is the rustiest patch on the car. It's just unbelievable. Actually going to go into the front wing area, but that, again, that's clean as well. And I might take that out to clean. God. Yeah, I might actually take that out further to the time to actually get rid of that stuff. Oh, cleaning of the exterior will come probably after the MOT at this rate, but we'll see. Okay, that's absolutely filthy, and it's all nice and clean now. Come on, camera. I am going to get a GoPro going forwards, and as you can hear by the traffic, I am definitely going to get a wireless microphone, probably those Rode ones. They're quite good actually, and quite a few YouTubers use them for blogging. Yeah, that's nice and clean now. I mean, the springs come up really nicely. When it dries, it will reveal how good it is, because everything looks good in the wet. But yeah, absolutely clean as a whisper. I did have to go and put my hand up here. There's a ledge up here at the top, and a lot of leaves were sort of hanging around at the top, particularly around the drain up there. But they will just fall all the way down here. Yeah, well, I have noticed, I'm gonna have to sort this out, because that is really annoying. Now, I don't know whether this is a sticker, but I do have Starlight Silver paint. It will look a bit mismatched, but we'll cover that as we go further down the line. It is worn. The other side is fine, but that is quite annoying. Or I could just get another piece of trim in better condition. Not all of them are worn as that. I don't know why it's that worn, but yeah, it's definitely worn. It's not dirt, unfortunately. But that's just a tiny little thing. We'll sort that out. But yeah, I'm going to keep proceeding, and then I'm going to go along the sill. I'm just going to keep scrubbing with the actual thick brush and the cleaner, and just go along the sill, because there's still bits at the bottom that I don't like. And before I put the cover on, I want to make sure that that is good. Actually, I don't think I've shown you this. See what I mean? That's the old door handle, which was good, but it needed a respray. And look at the difference. It's quite a difference. But if you compare that colour with the colour in there, there's a complete difference. So what's happened is the paint has just literally faded a bit, and it does need polishing, and hopefully that will match, but it looks better than what it did before. I think there's just, yeah, the camera's picking up just the slightest dent there. That's it. I think there's one there on the other side, strangely. Those are the only dents on this car, and they're like the shallowest dents ever. Absolutely stunning. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to tackle bits like this. Like going down here, there's all this. You know, I want to get this stuff off before we put the sill covers back on. That is going to come off with a brush. Just cover it up. Okay, now I'm just going to get a bit of a demonstration. Ooh, it's taken ages to come off. I mean, this here, That took a while, but it has come off. There we go. So I just keep doing this down the whole sill, and there's some here as well. It is slowly coming off, which is great, and I'll just keep going at this now, and then we can proceed with putting the, well, we've got to wait for it to dry. I'll dry it off. I've got to jack the rear of the car up to get that wheel off, so I think I'll do that after this. Yeah, this is coming up really nicely, and it does take time, this, but this engine and machine cleaner is absolutely amazing. I mean, auto glint stuff I've always been a fan of. I think Diamond Bright stuff is really good, and the only reason I know that is because I watch Furious Driving, and some of their products, the glass cleaner from Diamond Bright is the best I've encountered. There's a few other products that I'm pretty impressed with, but particularly the glass cleaner. Oh, and the ceramic glaze. The ceramic glaze, it smells like a porn star martini cocktail, if you've ever had one. Absolutely gorgeous smell. These, that, and that's a bubble. That's a bubble. That's the worst bit. I am going to treat that. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some sandpaper. I'm actually going to treat that bit, but there's no other areas to treat. That's it. If I just show you down here, can you see the whole sill? I mean, I'm going to take you down here. I mean, the whole car's like that. I mean, literally scabs, tiny little scabs. I say it again, I mean, I said this when I actually took the seals off. How on earth a facelift was made to this level? I think the trim is appalling. I'll actually show you this. I was really disappointed yesterday, but then I realised, looking back at a photo when I bought the car, you see this centre console, it sits flush there, but look, there's a gap, like you can't push it in. There's like a tab that goes in on that side. See here, you've got this screw that goes through. There's a little plastic tab that goes through, and it just won't push through. And no matter how much I tried to get it to line up, I had to release the console to get it lined up and do that side equally. Couldn't get it lined up. And then I looked at a photo when I bought the car, and it was like that anyway. The trim quality isn't great in here, I've got to be honest with you. I think these are shite. I think the Audi TT ones, which are identical and they do fit, they don't break. But the Rover ones, they break. Does the same company make them? Nah. Different company, they just copied it. So they probably went to China for that, ironically. I mean, this as well. I mean, this is not sitting flush. I mean, look, you can take it out so easily, but it's meant to like clip in on the sides. Oh, it's just trim quality wasn't the best on these later models. I can live with that, and I'll just live with that. But yeah, it's that's the only thing that really lets the facelift models down. They skipped in areas, and you know, but that is just ridiculous. What I'm going to do next, we're going to get that back wheel off and repeat the same procedure, and then we're just going to let it air dry a little bit, and then I'm going to come back, probably get one of the Scott Garage towels, my blue towels. Scott Garage towels, the best towels ever. And then literally wring it out, dry it, make sure it's all dry, and then GT85 in certain areas, okay, with a microfiber cloth, a dirty one. And that will do for now until I can actually get some rust coating on it. But this will do for now. It's not going to be driven very much at all. In fact, once I've got the MOT done and we're all up and running, the rust prevention will be what the #1 priority. The rust protection that I'm aiming for is LanoGuard. You may have seen it advertised on Facebook quite heavily, and YouTube and other social media platforms. Lano Guard. Have a look. It's a good wax oil / rust killer all in one. It's very easy to apply. Apparently you need to reapply every year or so, but that's fine. I do the same with wax oil anyway. I end up doing it on the Focus anyway, making an absolute mess. And that's the point. This isn't a mess. It is easy to control. There's different kits available depending on the size of your car and how far you want to go. Like they have these flexible nozzles that go into the sill. I might look into that because that will be good for this. Because obviously it's looking so nice. Let's just keep it that way. I might just stick some dinner troll in, but we might as well go down the road of Lano Guard. Because I want to see what it's like and do a really good product review on it. And I'd like to see the finish, because as I say, we've got the majority of that factory silver paint is intact. Why would I want to cover that up with black wax oil? You can get clear wax oil, but I don't want the mess. I don't want to be doing two cars, it's too much. So I'm going to go down a different path. Don't tell me these aren't tight. That's going to be a bit worrying if it is, because these were on the ground. Maybe not, they were tight. And stuck to the hub. Again, same procedure, just whack it all on. Again, it's looking absolutely fantastic. This spring is just, it's not even surface rust on it. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't think these are in risk of snapping at all, and they're 18 years old. There is one thing to note: the train arm bushes, which I'm going to have to change. I will have to look at changing it, so I have to drop this arm. I'm going to have to take this off. I may replace the arm. We'll see how good it is. Because we're going to have to take it off, so I might replace it. And to drop this train arm and the compensator arm, which is what you adjust your camber on, I may change that as well. That's 20 quid. This bush is very cheap, and it was used on many Hondas of the same period. So I can probably get a train arm bush tool for about 50-60 quid that will take that out. It'd be better than getting the whole thing off, disturbing the whole hub, the whole train arm. I'd rather do it in situ if I can. I mean, look how well it's come up, and it's just surface scabs. Imagine if you go back and see how dirty that was. The exhaust, if you've watched my Mark 1 video on how to clean up your exhaust, I may have a crack at this. In fact, I might have a go in a second actually with the old sandpaper, but the truth is it is a bit more tarnished than I would have liked. It is an old system. I may just preserve it to try and keep it going for a few, a little bit longer, a few more years. But in truth, that's the worst of it at the back here. I mean, there's a bit there, that needs treating, but there's little tiny bits. The worst bit was the mounting point for the seat belt, or the back seat. The bolt goes through there. I've now zinc primered that. That's the only part that I've had to do so. But the rest of it, I suspect the Lano Guard is actually going to deal with. I don't even think I have to put rust kill over some of these bits, but we'll see how we go on. Anyway, I'm just going to get my dirty sponge and continue doing what I was doing. Just wipe it all off. Yeah. Right, now that's been soaked down, I'm going to give it a crack. Compare the before and after, guys. I've just noticed how dirty this is. Probably the dirtiest part of the car still, and it's just wipe it away. Unbelievable. This is so clean. Well, that bit isn't. We'll get to that. Hang on. For the camera. There we go. Gone. Well, might as well go for the middle silencer as well, because that seems to be in decent nick and it's on the floor. I have replaced this exhaust hanger. This is nice and flexible now. The One that was on the car was an aftermarket one, and oh my god, it was like cardboard. Never buy aftermarket hangers because they fail very, very quickly. That one's the original. I may actually look to see if I can change those two hangers at the back as well. I could only get hold of one. I couldn't find another genuine one, but I think I'll go to Rimmer Brothers. This is a good box that is not even tarnished. Even that pipe looks good. I'm going to go over that pipe as well, because this is absolutely ripe for a decent polish. I don't know why the rear box is so rusty. It must be old, because that must be newer, but that's the original cat. Don't nick my cat, because you could nick it very easily today. That is the original cat, and they are really good. People have said if you've got the original cat and it still works, you are lucky. And I certainly have, and I've got a parts number somewhere there. I love it when you wet sand. You start finding all sorts of stuff. Oh, yeah, and this is a Walker's box. Yep, Walker's as well. So this may have been fitted at the same time as that. That's interesting, how this one has bared quite nicely. I think I should name the title of my video, Can You Polish a Cat? Once again, Andrew has become distracted. I was meant to put the sills on and arches on today, but now I'm distracted, and now I've started down here. Now I've got to go all the way up. This is the thing, when you start on one job, you just get distracted by other jobs, and then suddenly it gets out of hand, and then what you want to do, you never really complete. Oh well, it's coming up really nicely. Look at that silencer. I have not started on this pipe, and yet it looks great anyway, but it needs, it really is right for polishing, and this is coming up so nicely. And obviously, this is the best bit of the pipe, really. This will take minutes. I mean, oh, still, it's already coming up. Right, out comes the auto salt. Now the exhaust has been allowed to dry. Now, it won't make a huge amount of difference, but what it does add is a protective coating as well as polishing. And I think that's the important thing to note again about this. Let's just go over the entire exhaust. Just a small coating. It really does help having the exhaust this low. About half an hour after my last shot, this is the result. Arguably a bit of an even more coarse sandpaper would get some of this off, but the back box is the worst bit. I'm just putting around here, a little bit of rust, but honestly, look at it, absolutely spot on. And I have washed this side of the car, I've washed the rear suspension down. That side will be done at some point, maybe in a couple of days time, but yeah, this is ripe for Lano Guard, because the Lano Guard, I don't have to put rust killer on bits like the tank and the bottom arms. It would just go on, and it's a rust killer and wax oil combined, and it's very easy to apply. But I'm so pleased about the exhaust. That looks absolutely wicked. I think this is the original back box personally. Now, I don't know if Walkers were the original supplier to MG Rover at the time, but yeah, I'd say this is the original back box. I'd say that middle piece has been replaced, and then the bit up front is the original again. So now that's done, what I want to do is I just want to put some rust killer on some of these bits here. Now, I could just leave it and let the Lano Guard stuff do its job whenever I put that on in a couple of months, but I want to protect that if I can. So I'm going to put some rust killer down, and maybe in here as well, just in the more obvious places. This is fine, you know, this speckly stuff, it's absolutely fine, because that's going to be treated. But the spring, there's just like the lightest surface rust on here. Could go around there actually. That's a tricky area, so I'll just go over these isolated areas again. It's my usual stuff, any sort of rust killer. Genolite is another good one, but it's quite expensive. Granville, I think this bottle cost me £10 or something. I know it's a dirty container, but that's probably way too much for this application, but I've got plenty of it. And the great thing about this is that your brushes don't go hard. This is specifically my brush that I use with this, but it doesn't go hard. All the other ones you have to leave it in white spirit for a few days. No, just brush it on. Just brush it on quite thoroughly and done. Probably put some on the hanger as well, because I'm not happy with that. And I'm just going to go around. Just put a bit up here. No, just I will put some on the spring while I've got it in my hand, but I'm not really going to go overboard. It's literally going to be a light coating. That is it. Because later down the line the Genolite is going to do the job. Just a few little patches here and there. Again, the front, this is the worst bit, so I've identified that as a place to go. I may put some on the suspension, we'll just see how it comes up, but it's really a little bit on the spring as usual. There, bit there. Nah. Oh, and up here. And there. Okay. And I'm just showing you exactly the process that I go through and why I'm doing it this way, because that is more useful than anything. There is a system that you have to go through really with many cars, with every car really, just to make sure that you're doing the best you can for it. Now I'm just going to put a light coating on this. Now, while that's going, I thought I see the opportunity of cleaning inside the wing, and it is really clean in here. I've just taken this side lamp out, and unfortunately there seems to be a bit of algae in the seam, so I may have to split this open or replace it with one that isn't covered in all sorts of detritus, but it will do. But it's all rather clean up here. We've got your cables for the boot and all down there. It's just so clean. I mean, I haven't done much at all. I promise you guys, I have not gone to the length that I did with the Focus, and it's self-cleaning. But yeah, the rust killer is going off. We're going to put some zinc primer in isolated areas only, namely up there. There's a bit of bare metal up there, so I want to cover that up. But then once that's done, we can get the arch liner back in. I have mixed up all the fixings, because it was quite some time ago I took it off, and then we can get the sills on with a couple of clips. I'm going to use the old clips. I've got some new ones, but I'm not putting them on because I know this is going to have to come back off for the rust protection in a couple of months. And exactly the same just for the rear, just a little bit. It's a good job it's a silver car because it won't look stupid. Just a little bit in there. Come on, that's it. Just a dab, that's it. I'm not really going overboard, because we've got that's it. And this is where my go-to product GT85 comes into its own. Watch it around brakes, but just spray. This is why I order them in bulk packs of 12 or 20. It makes it cheaper in the longer run, and oh my god, it does leave a PTFE finish, which is always a good thing. Yeah, not really doing too much, but you can see why I do, what I do and why I do it, and how it benefits every single one of the cars I've owned. This is exactly what I did with the Focus, and I am not changing my game. Alright, next thing, I've got to put the sill cover back on. I have given this a clean. It has faded in places, but as you'd expect, it's at that, you know, that place in the car where it gets chips and everything. But it's come up nice, all the clips are intact, and we're going to just pop this back on, and then we can get the front arch liner back into place. I have an array of bolts and clips. I've completely forgot where they all go, but it doesn't matter, because quite frankly, they're all a bit of a mishmash for this car, you know, screws and clips, and oh no, it's just been given all sorts of different stuff, so we'll just lop it on now. Oh, that was easy. I think the key is just to get a couple lined in, and then they pop back in really easy compared to how they came off. Yeah, that's the front bit where you've got some fixings, but as I say, I'm going to put some of these little clips back in. I think it's these. Now, I don't have a lot of these, but some of them will go. I'll put a couple of these back in just to hold it in, but I have got some new ones, so I'm just going to put a few in under the bottom just to keep it secure. Right, these clips, then these are the originals. I'm going to replace these. I've got new ones, but you have to take that centerpiece out and push the legs in to insert it into the hole. Otherwise, if you just leave it like that, well, there's no way that's going in, is there? So yeah, make sure all the legs are evenly pushed in as you're going into the hole. Right, all done, back in. That is secure. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of these clips, and I don't have any more for the other side. In fact, there's another one there. Oh, there's another screw I need to put in there. Quite frankly, I haven't got any more clips for that side. I don't know, it has been off that other side quite recently, I reckon, or more recently than the other side. What I am going to do, I mean, I can order some new clips, that's not a problem. What I am going to do is just sort these blimming screws out, a bit of rust killer. There we go, and it turned. Did you see the reaction there? That's what happens. It reacts instantly. But yeah, it needs a bit of a clean up, but it doesn't really matter. It's an arch. Now, the rust killer can leave this white residue, so that's good because it means it's worked. And oh god, that looks so much better. Oh, it's taken ages to get to this stage, but now I'm done for today. This is the task sorted. I'll be repeating the same on the other side in the same manner, and I will post that as an update. But you can see my method of working and how I go about sorting bodywork issues. And it is thanks to this stuff, zinc primer. Normally I do a bit of stone chip, but I'm not going to because we are going to do Lano Guard in a couple of months. And more importantly, the airbag light goes off. I'm sure it will come back on because it's a seat connector issue, and that was the problem. That's what caused my light. But now I've took them out, put them back in, cleaned the connection, it's all done. It may not come back on, but it could. So I shall see you guys soon. Bye bye.